What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. I know it's been a few days since a video's come out. I've been still dealing with those personal things going on, but I'm back, and in this particular video, we're going to be talking about the Abbotsford Canucks and the fact that they are advancing to the third round of the Calder playoffs. For the first time in their history, they managed to knock off the Coachella Valley Firebirds uh, 3-1 in their second round series, and now they are moving on to face the Colorado Eagles in the third round of the Calder Cup playoffs. So we're gonna dive into it uh, and look at a article from our friends at Canucks Army, in particular Cody Sievertson, and he's gonna just recap the game for us, as I was not able to watch it, so we're gonna go by this article for a mini recap. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now I'm gonna read the beginning of it, and then before we actually get into the official recap part, I'll do my sponsor read, and then right after that, we will get into the actual game recap. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. For the first time in franchise history, the Abbotsford Canucks are moving on to the Pacific Division Finals. It wasn't pretty, but the banged up farm team got the job done. It's the playoffs. They're all day to day, said Abbotsford Canucks head coach Manny Malhotra ahead of their Game 4 matchup with the Coachella Valley Firebirds. On Friday night, the team in front of Artur Silovs looked completely exhausted. Malhotra joked that everyone on his roster was day to day. Now he has 7 days of rest and preparation ahead of him for his club's series against the Colorado Eagles. That's plenty of time for a club that eked out a series win against a difficult opponent to reset against an even tougher one. The loss of Atu Ratu and Jet Wu was evident in the club's series against Coachella Valley, while Joel Arnston was a credible low-minute fill-in. The double shifting of players like Victor Mancini, Guillaume Brisebois, Akito Hirose, and Kirill Kudryavtsev took its toll. For much of the club's Game 4 victory, the team played without a fourth line, as Malhotra had to match his veterans against the heavy press of the Firebirds, his stacked top six. 7 days to give those players time to recuperate and possibly rejoin the rotation is massive. Throughout the regular season, the Abbotsford Canucks dominated the Eagles, winning 6 of 8 matchups by a score of 27-21. He had 2 goals and 2 assists in the 3 games against the Eagles that Ratu played. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's focus on Friday night's historic victory and 3 opportunities to close out a series. First against Tucson. On Friday night against Coachella Valley, Artur Silovs improved his record in the big game to 2-1, including 2 shutouts. Silovs posted a .963 save percentage in those 3 games with a 1.12 goals against average. While Silovs wasn't able to clutch it out against the Edmonton Oilers during last year's Stanley Cup playoffs because, well, they're the bleeping Oilers, Silovs has absolutely clutched it up for Abbotsford during these Calder Cup playoffs. Just ignore that game 2 against Tucson, where he led in 3 goals on 9 shots. Friday was a hard-earned victory for the organization, and closing the series now instead of on Sunday may have boosted the team's chances of an even longer Calder playoff run. Let's see how they did it. So let's look at the starting lineup for this game. I know it's been a few days, but the starting lineup was Baines, Sasson, and Lekramaki on the first line. Di Giuseppe, Mueller, and Carlson on the second line. Blay, Chiara, and Smith on the third line. And then Nielsen, Waters, and Gambates on the fourth line. Then you had your defensive pairings. Brisebois and McWard as your first pairing. Arntzen and Mancini as your second pairing. Hirose and Kudryavtsev as your third pairing. And then, of course, you had Artur Silovs in goal. Now, before we get into the actual game itself, let me do my sponsor read, and then we'll dive right into it directly following that. Are you looking for an energy drink that is jitter-free, crash-free, no sugars, no artificial colors or dyes, and no calories? Then Dubby Energy is for you. With over 15 plus unique custom-made flavors, go ahead and get a starter sampler pack, which includes 3 different flavors. Use code TheLineChange to get 10% off your next purchase. Dubby Energy, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. All right, let's dive right into the actual game. Why mess with what worked, right? For Game 4, it was the same lineup as Game 3 for Manny Malhotra, with Cale Fleury replacing Brandon Bureau for the Firebirds on the other side. Let's break it down. First period, hot off his first Calder playoff goal, Kirill Kudryavtsev set the tone of the Canucks' series win, with the game's first oopsie whiffing on the puck inside the neutral zone, gifting Coachella Valley an early and highly dangerous 2-on-1 rush chance. Abbotsford would answer with a 3-on-2 not long after, and would whiff on their shot attempt in a similar fashion. Steve Baines, whose most notable play in Abbotsford's 3-1 Game 3 victory was a wide open net miss, looked sharp on the defensive side of the puck, hard matched against the Firebirds' top line of Jagger Furcus, Logan Morrison, and Jacob Melanson. Both teams clamped down on offense in the early goings through the first 10 minutes. Neither club mustered much of anything in the way of dangerous chances. Coachella Valley held the advantage in shots 3-1, but none of those shots for either club could be defined as threatening. Both clubs were blocking passing lanes, deflecting shots, and generally keeping pucks away from their respective netminders. It was a tense atmosphere. For the second time in as many games, the 5'8" Tristan Nielsen easily shook a check from the 6'5" Ville Ottavainen. After stealing a puck with a shoulder check in the neutral zone, the diminutive winger dropped the mammoth fin with a stiff forearm off a dump in. Nielsen's pastry drew the ire of Coachella Valley's John Hayden, who took a rather undisciplined interference minor while attempting to draw Nielsen into a fight. The decision proved quite foolish, as the Farms power play capitalized for the first time in the series to give Abbotsford an early 1-0 lead. Abbotsford Canucks goal scored by Max Sasson from Kirill Kudryavtsev and Sammy Blais. It was a brilliantly simple play. Sammy Blais entered the zone off the wing, dropped back to Kudryavtsev for the one-timer off the point, and Max Sasson with a backhander on the rebound for his second of these playoffs. Less than a minute later, the Canucks PK went to work off a similar undisciplined high-sticking minor penalty taken by Chase Waters. Without their premier penalty-killing centerman, Malhotra threw a PK group featuring Ty Mueller, Phil DiGiuseppe, Guillaume Brisebois, and Victor Mancini. The PK couldn't have gone better with back-to-back takeaways and rink-wide clearances from Brisebois to help precious seconds off Waters' infraction. The Firebirds' best look on their man advantage came off a drive down the wing from Jagger Furcus, whose lone chance was steered aside easily by Archer Seeloffs. By killing Waters' penalty, the Farms PK moved to 18 for 18, an immaculate 100% successful PK rate. With time winding down, Abbotsford rattled off a handful of shots on goal to help finish the period with a 9-7 advantage in shots on goal, including the innocuous wrister from Nielsen. To be fair, most of Abbotsford's shots in the late goings of the opening frame were of the innocuous variety, point shots from a distance through traffic. Overall, it was a subdued period from both clubs that did finish with some spice, with Linus Karlsson taking a tripping minor penalty in the dying seconds of the period. Moving on to the second period. To start the period, Blais and Coachella's Ian McKinnon exchanged jabs before puck drop, resulting in both going to the box for offsetting minor penalties. The home team did a great job denying offense for the second PK of the night. Firebirds' best look came moments after Carlson left the box, with Seelobs clamping down on a cross-ice tap-in set up by Coachella's Jagger Farkas. The Canucks weren't too active through the first 5 minutes. However, the club pressed off an offensive zone faceoff win, where Phil Di picked off a kick pass from Ty Mueller before going between his legs for a shot attempt on a sprawled out Nike Coco. If it worked, it would have been an all-timer. Off a save by Seelovs, Jujar Kara and Jacob Mullinson took offsetting roughing penalties, sending the game to 4-on-4. During the regular season, the Abbotsford Canucks outscored opposition 5-1 at 4-on-4. While the club dominated possession, a blown tire from Blay would give way to the best opportunity of 4-on-4, with Coachella's Cale Fleury rifling a shot off the post. The shot totals weren't too friendly to Abbotsford through the first 10 minutes of the middle frame. While it was rather slanted, 9-3 for Coachella Valley, the Canucks spent a considerable amount of time in the offensive zone. Unfortunately, the club spent more time passing the puck to their opposition instead of passing it to line mates for meaningful shot attempts on goal. A big hit from Nate Smith sparked a bit of life in the home crowd. Quietly, Akito Hirose had an excellent showing on a pairing with Kudratsev, the diminutive left shot defenseman. Routinely broke up plays inside the neutral zone through the body behind the net when needed and generated shot attempts when called upon. Hirose's one-timer off the blue line with 7 minutes remaining, and the period deflected just wide off of Coco's left post and was the Farm's most meaningful look following Di Giuseppe's through the legs miss. Blay danced through several skaters in the final 5 minutes for a sharp angle attempt. Right as I was beginning to tweet, I forgot Jonathan Lacramaki was in the lineup. He and his line mates combined for Abbotsford's best chance of the period, with Lacramaki floating a trickle just wide of Nike Coco's left post. The above was a totally cromulent shift for Lacramaki through 2 checks, resulting in the back-to-back chances for him and Sasson. The Farm would rally with a relatively impressive late push, helped close the gap on a dreadfully ugly shot deficit. Ahead of the final 5 minutes, the Firebirds outshot Abbotsford 11-4, with the home team finishing the first 40 narrowly down in shots, 18-17, but up 1-0 where it mattered most. Moving on to the third period. Unsurprisingly, the trailing Firebirds pressured hot and heavy to start the final period. Fortunately, Seelovs was sharp as the team in front of him bobbled pucks and flubbed chances left, right, and center. At one point, Guillaume Brisebois checked John Hayden into Seelovs, crashing the 6'3" forward directly into Seelovs' head. The Canucks' inability to string tape-to-tape passes was a brutal issue in the second frame, worse so in the third, where several rush chances were scuttled due to poor passes. Even though the club did well to recover their errors, each quality recovery followed an equally subpar pass or shot attempt. Whether related to exhaustion or the pressure of a 1-goal lead on home ice with a chance to ice the series away, the team simply could not get their crap together. Lots of this, sadly. Seelovs was forced into heroics midway through the period on a point-blank chance from Ian McKinnon off a brilliant play from Tucker Robertson, who beat Brisebois to a clearance, negating the icing and curling the puck into the slot for the most dangerous chance of the game. Past the midway point of the period, Jujar Kara caught his stick between the legs of Cale Fleury, gifting Coachella their third power play of the night. Interestingly, Ty Mueller took the opening PK draw ahead of Chase Waters. The rookie center won the draw, playing the puck off the wall to himself for the rink-wide clearance. Hirose was stellar on the PK. On the Firebirds' final try, Hirose steered aside a loose puck into the half wall, got body positioning on his check, then battled for the loose puck to secure the rink-wide clearance and pushed the Canucks' PK to 19 for 19. Upon the return to 5-on-5, Blais drew a kneeing penalty against Luke Henman, giving Abbotsford a chance to ice things away. They weren't able to ice it. However, we were gifted Tristan Nielsen ended up laying out Melanson during a shorthanded wraparound attempt. Late in the frame, R.C. Baines negated a would-be goal with a fantastic backcheck on a wide-open opportunity for Coachella's David Goyette. With 2:39 left to go, Coachella Valley head coach Derek Laxdell pulled Nick Coco for the extra attacker on an offensive zone draw. After a dicey first minute and two half clears, Chase Waters played a board and out to Max Sesson, who earned the Canucks a change with a dump in from the red line. Under pressure off a line change, Phil DiGiuseppe stole the puck in neutral territory, setting up Linus Karlsson with the empty netter, his first of the series. Linus Karlsson scores to make it 2-0 from Phil DiGiuseppe. With a minute 31 seconds left, Laxdell pulled Coco again for the extra attacker. It wouldn't be enough, as the Canucks would hold the Firebirds to 0 shots with the near 3-minute long 6-on-5 advantage. In years past, the Firebirds' pressure would have ultimately yielded an equalizer. This club was game, though, despite 80% of their bounces going against their favor. They didn't panic, and the steady glove of Seelovs was the brick wall they needed when those bounces kept going the Firebirds' way. It was a pretty ugly game, but an ugly history-making victory for the farm team, nevertheless, as they took down a longtime arch nemesis in just 4 games. Final score was 2-0 for the Abbotsford Canucks. Final series score was 3-1 in favor of Abbotsford. As mentioned earlier, they go on to advance to the third round. And they will, as we mentioned earlier, they will meet the Colorado Eagles in the Pacific Division Finals. However, there will be a significant wait for that series to begin. As the higher seed, the Colorado Eagles will decide whether they will host the first 2 or the final 3 games of their 5-game series. Regardless of where they play, Game 1 is set for Friday, May 16th. So there's that. So once again, congratulations to the Abbotsford Canucks. They're still going strong. I'm still rooting for them. They're still giving me content, concerning things are a little quiet on the Vancouver Canucks front. Yes, people are talking about, who the next head coach could be. But other than that, there's not a whole lot going on in Canucks land unless you're talking the Abbotsford Canucks. But that's going to do it for this video in particular. As always, if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to The Line Change and want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks and Abbotsford Canucks related content, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. You can find us on social media, on Twitter /X at LineChangeVan. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change and you'll be able to find our Facebook page. If you prefer to listen on an audio podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And also, if you do listen to the audio version, you can rate and review. It is greatly appreciated. But that's going to do it for me in this video. As always, go Canucks go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.